So still on Your View, it's our Friday show, and we have moved away from celebrity gist to talking about the impact of our selective justice, selective criticism, and sycophancy that seem to be rife amongst us. And I asked Nema a question about how difficult it is for Nigerians. And I know because it is easy for her to say yes, because I know she does it. But majority of Nigerians struggle with giving feedback. They struggle with calling out people close to them that have done something wrong. So everybody is corrupt until the person is your cousin. Or he's a thief, he's a thief. He's our own, he's our family member. It's the same thing that happened with the cases of rape or cases of, you know, when they say, your husband, no, you cannot go and report your husband. But what he did is a crime because it's close to home. We struggle with being able to get justice in those kind of cases. So, Ramata, I was going to put you on the spot. You said you wanted to, let me let you first answer the question I posed concerning how Nigerians struggle with giving accurate feedback to relatives.
Yeah, so...
why do you think we struggle with it?
I think we struggle with it because we care about that person. We don't want to hurt that person. And we can see how much the person is working so hard to make sure that, you know, they deliver and all. I remember I used to have a friend that was once, you know, these are our SUG government stuff in school, and they gave her a certain position. So I used to be very blunt then. I can tell you how it is. Anyhow, you know, I'll just say it as it is. So she was able to get us to, you know, like, okay, you, please, anytime I'm going this way, call me out. And then she got the people that, you know, that are liberal and all. So at some point, anytime she does something, I'll go and tell her, no, it's wrong. Don't do this, don't do that. You know, outrightly, I was always telling her bluntly and everything. And I'll keep talking about it, keep talking about it and all. At some point, she got really upset. And she was like, I'm trying to force my own view and opinion on her. And then it became a very, you know, it started becoming a bit toxic. So I had to withdraw from that kind of thing. She was very close to me. We were good friends and all. That affected our relationship and our friendship and all. But instead of taking it the other way around, I sat down and I asked myself, maybe there's a better way to, you know, send this message out there instead of the way I was doing it, harshly, like that. So I started doing it this way. After some time, I called her, and then we sat down, we talked, and I apologized that, okay, the way I've been saying it is maybe has been harsh and all of that. So what I started doing was, if I see that there's a problem, I go to talk to her and I listen. The last time, there was a time I said, listening is a very powerful skill. You know, when you sit down and you listen to someone, you just allow the person talk without you, you know, interrupting the person. Just listen and allow the person talk. You don't have to reply that moment. You can take your time and reply. So what I did was, I'll sit down, I'll listen to her. She'll finish saying everything, and then I'll tell her that, okay, I'm going to give her a response maybe in 30 minutes time or the next day. I'll go articulate, you know, think about ways of how I can relay the message to her. And I'll come back and I'll relay the message to her. And she will take it in good faith. And that was how she was doing. And she was able to handle...
You made your approach less
aggressive.
Less aggressive,
yes. Because, you know, when they are there, they won't know all these things. They won't even know that what they are doing is really wrong. And that's what happens to politicians. They don't even know that some of the things that they are doing are not really right. So, but the way you talk to them, the way you tell them matters a lot. If you do it bluntly, no, I'm calling you out and all of that, they won't listen.
You might not,
you lose
you might not be able to achieve the results you want because of the way you delivered it. We have David calling in on the show. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is actually my first time calling.
Good to have you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, ma'am. So I have been following this show for quite some time, and I can see for the fact that what you do is actually good.
I can't hear you so well.
So I quickly want to talk about, you know, you raised the issue of very asthma, and you spoke about mobility, you spoke about some actions. I quickly say something to that, if you don't mind. Can I?
David, it's not clear. It's really not clear. So sad. So over to you, Abigail.
I think what we practice in Nigeria is you don't talk while you're eating. Most people won't talk.
But that's the rule now.
So that's where integrity is tested through fire.
So you can be eating. Hold on. Let me ask this question.
Bad table
So
manners.
are you saying that Nigerians have good table manners and that we should start deploying a bit of bad table manners, not that we should push the food away? So let me give you context. The food now is the money you get from these benefactors or something. So what's the opinion of some people is push the food away so that you can speak your mind freely. And some Nigerians will be like, I'm hungry, let me be eating the food. But then, because I'm eating, I should not talk. But are you going to eat and talk, or you advise push the food away, or you say eat the food and be talking? Which one are you?
So because of the political system, I cannot give a yes or no answer here because cases differ.
Yeah.
Yes, if there's a murder case, it's different from maybe you make a mistake, and we all make mistakes.
Okay.
So a lot of Nigerians are very selective. And with our politicians, I'll say it clearly that most of them, as they are assuming office, they have a media team that is paid to defend them. So because they're on a payroll, whether you like it or not, whether your guy is doing anyhow, you will see them swamping up on comment section, trying to defend what cannot be defended. So that's it. And you can see most of these people, you want them to talk to the politicians. They don't even have access to these politicians. Who, is it the Agbero boy or the somebody somewhere in the east that will have access to go and say, okay, Oga, I want to see you. This thing you're doing, I don't like it. Yeah. No. So most of these guys don't even have access to the people that they are defending. They are just defending because I is my person. I'll say something. People experience people differently. Yeah. So you can be a good person to me and the other person will see you as a bad person.
Yeah.
So if the person is talking about the bad stuff you've done to the person, I can't relate. I can't relate.
Very valid.
So, and if they see the two of us outside, they say, see this one, as if you don't know that this person is bad. I can't relate. And you can't expect me to come out and start speaking or talking with you or siding with you when I don't even know what you're talking about. Do you understand? Some of these politicians, whether you like it or not, what that Kogi boy said, they will take from your money, the bulk of your money, and give you 1%. But because you've not eaten a day, if maybe you do 001, and then you now see somebody that feeds you morning, afternoon, night, you will think he's doing everything. Yeah. That's why we make excuses for politicians. Say, after all, the other people, they can't chop, go. This one, try do borehole. Or this one, try do road. So we make excuses for these things.
So true.
Human beings, we are very dynamic. We are very different in our ideologies, in our moralities, in everything we believe in. And so we approach life differently, you know. There are certain people who, I'm sure we saw somebody who returned.
Be a good politician. Know that she has done like this. She has done the more you look, the less you see.
One of the good ethics of being a broadcaster is balance. You have to be somewhere, you know. So what I feel is we have people that have this integrity, but most times it's really tested. And is it the hungry man that will see money and say, okay, I will not do this job?
That's why you should follow my example. Stop these table manners. Eat the food, but speak when you are eating. I feel that
it doesn't work.
Let me take this call, then I will give you my opinion. It is possible. You can eat and be talking. We all do it in our houses. George, welcome to the show from Agbado. Good to have you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. This is my first time calling.
We have a lot of first-timers today. Welcome. Good to have you here.
I don't have the interest of calling. I've been calling all the way. I'll get the people that today not prompt to my book. As Lama have said concerning the 100 million, very dark man. Because he doesn't know who wants to. Nobody, no one that me, don't know who was the issue of Salam family began to roll. Minister,
I'm struggling to hear you.
When just like him, what brought him up to live life was the issue of the killing of Egypt with the Kanayo. Then, from there, I begin to hear he becomes minister under rights.
So sorry, George, and it's your first time calling, but we struggle to hear you. Like I said, we've moved on from the very dark man and Don Jazzy's situation. I don't think it is in the scope of what is happening in Nigeria right now. It's not our most important topic. I feel what is most important is the fact that our politicians have loads of special advisors. Our politicians have loads of
foot soldiers,
people around them that I feel they should know the truth. But based on the reality on ground, I do not think many of them know the truth. And it's because the people around them are very, very good with table manners. They are eating, and so they are quiet. And the expectation that we have is that even as you are eating, express the fact that this food they are giving me, I am one among 1 million that can get it. So when they share those bags of rice and they drop it in local government, you give a local government maybe 100 bags of rice, or let's even say 1,000 bags of rice. How many people will get that rice? But the people closest to the chairman or closest to those in power, because they have gotten that Congo or they've gotten that paint bucket, they will say the chairman is doing well and hail the chairman, but you know somebody around you that is hungry that cannot get it. It cannot go round. It cannot go round. So why don't we deploy effort into where it can go round? A lot of the sycophancy is why we are where we are. And our politicians don't like to hear the truth as well. That's another side of the story. But I feel that we need to become more, expressive of what is going on. And like Ramatu said, don't just come out and say, oh, this governor, you are useless. This local government chairman, and start insulting and throwing bad language everywhere. You can achieve advocacy without insulting anybody. You can speak up for what is right or speak against what is wrong without throwing insult and defamation. With facts, back up what you're saying, hold people accountable, and then we can start having a better country.
Okay, so let me add something. Like, I've seen it play out on X. If you are very active on X, you see these kind of things. Before politicians come, when they are campaigning, you will see a lot of people coming out and speaking against. You will start following. Some people follow them because of the way that, you know, they express themselves. You will be talking against maybe a particular politician and everything. And then all of a sudden, the politician comes on board, and then the next thing you start seeing them. They start being for that politician. They start talking good things about the politician, you know, start campaigning and start, in fact, insulting people. No, don't say this about my candidate. Don't say this about my candidates and all. It's because right now, at some point, we now realize that some of them, they've brought them on board. They may now be special advisor to that particular politician that the person has been talking down on. You see, they are now special advisor to that particular politician, and now they are not ready to hear anything, any bad thing about that politician. Instead of listening, taking that feedback and going back to your boss and, you know, tell him this is what people
are saying. From Twitter. As in X, the conversion, if you go back and check their posts,
a lot of them have
2020, 2022,
it doesn't correlate.
And you're hearing them now, you're wondering, is it the same person? It's really sad that people can talk like this. They will say both sides
immediately they get the appointment, the story changes.
I'd like that people just stand for what they stand for and don't stand for what they don't stand for. They say, dodo, leso dodo. It's difficult to criticize someone who feeds you. You don't see oil work for oil station. You go chop where your needs are and that kind of thing. So it's how do I say it? It takes us back. It's why we are where we are. You know, it's why we are like this. We add sentiments. So I can gift you something when I'm in position. I don't need to be giving only you. I'm not in position for only you. I'm in position for a lot of people. So even when you're holding that thing, you're ready to give it back for the better good. You're saying, yes, you blessed me, but now you're in office. It is the school for the children of everybody, the hospital for everybody. Because if you continue to give only me, and I'm always praying for private hospital, if you go and died, you know, you are not there to give. It's not like you don't want to give me again. No. It's not like you used to choke my eye, but you're no longer alive. You're not just there.
Or you have left power.
And then the private hospital say, Auntie, the person that is paying for you is no longer there. Even husbands that are taking care of wife, they die. The HMO might not extend to their wives, and that's the reality. And we must face that reality. You know, that personal relationship and personal gifting is not for the betterment of everybody, and it will eventually come around. You know, it will eventually come around. Except all of us are stealing. As you are stealing for me too, I'm stealing for the next generation.
But they're always not left.
But that's where we are.
We finished chopping the country. We are finished the national cake.
So instead of that, make the hospital accessible for everybody. Do a health plan that everybody can afford, so that everybody will go there with their dignity and
kidney transplant for one person.
Yes.
Doing
raising 100 million
to do surgery for one person when we can help.
End hunger protesters are still in detention. Some of them.
Yeah.
And they're looking for ways to meet their bill. It's not the 500 million civil suits that have not been awarded.
That we're contributing
for. We can also prepare and help those people. You know, there are many other charities that we can do.
Endurance, welcome to the show. Good morning. Oh, we lost Endurance. All right, Abigail, you have the floor.
Yeah, so one thing with the politicians, you know, poverty is the highest weapon they have. They weaponize poverty so they are able to control.
But we allow them.
We allow them.
But they said a man who is down needs fear no fall. So if that's your only way,
which is why the advice
I'm not
is
giving
good.
Excuses for
which
them.
is why the advice is good.
But if you look at us, let's even leave the politicians. Even in our day-to-day life, you see that we've lost our moral compass.
Yes,
we don't have good moral compass. That's why somebody can inflate the cost of something just because they want to make extra profit. They don't care whether you have the money or not. That's why an iyaloja would tell somebody who wants to sell cheaper than the other union members that you cannot sell in this market if you want to sell lower than the next person. We've lost our moral compass. And that is a lot of work.
That is debatable.
We have.
No, that's not
general. But
so in the market, prices are regulated so that one person is not deliberately putting out the other people. So if we source this cup at a particular price and I go and source it cheaper, and I'm selling at this price, the other people's products will expire in their shops.
Yes. So
that's the purpose of regulating the price.
But most of the time, it is.
So there's abuse both ways.
There is, okay, but it's still arguable. Because if you buy egg for 4,000 in this store, in the same market, you can buy for 3,900. So where is it? Everybody is you trying to overinflate.
Let me take Ayo's call and then I'll come to you. Yes, we should have that conversation. Look, something is going on. So you know there's something that happens when your friend, you know, maybe your friend just gets an appointment and then immediately your friend gets an appointment. Her hair is perfect, her leg is good, her fashion sense makes sense. The way she carries bag, nobody carries bag like you. You now start hailing the person because you want to still be in good books with that person. Your cousin, uncle became governor, you will start greeting the uncle, uncle saying, no, but they don't like you. We are the ones that like you. We are your family members and all of that. Those are the things that I'm saying we should desist from doing. There was a video, especially for Wike, and Wike actually is a very active minister, especially even within Abuja. Even when he was in Rivers State, there were lots of projects for him that he could show up for. As he's doing in Abuja. But when you see videos of Wike that have surfaced from back then when he was speaking against injustice being meted out to governors and talking about how nobody should feel like you can override a governor, and you are seeing, Uncle, you just said this cup is cream. And we have video evidence that you say the cup is cream. How come today you are saying the cup is blue and we can all see that the cup is cream? Like everybody can see the cup is cream and you said it was cream just 2 years ago. What happened between 2 years and now? Political appointments. Or like we don't know. So we have those video evidence. With Reno online, we've seen Reno criticized, and then now he's saying, we've seen Femi, you know, so we've seen, so it is those kind of things that now make people worried that, I'm not going to come and die for anybody. The people that I'm following online, that they are shouting and saying, let's enter the streets, let's go and protest. Tomorrow now they collect political appointment. The person that got shot on the way is the one that will die. So that's where the bedrock of that seeming greed or selfishness came from. Everybody is now fighting for themselves.
You have to die for something. We are going to all the Canada, we are going to all the Europe. If you know what Europe was like in those days, or how how the Europeans got to America. Was America a paradise? Somebody died for those places. Yes. But we don't want to die. We don't want to we want a country. We want our country to overnight.
So, let me take her. He has called back. We lost his call earlier. And once again, we're losing again. This is not us. This is your network thereabouts. All right.
This country will only move forward if we're able to hold our...
We need to stick to our values.
Yes, and then politicians they will convict those politicians and make sure that they face... If you say a politician did something wrong, make sure that you convict that politician and make sure the politician goes to jail. But where nobody is holding anybody, when you start hearing, you hear that, we're after this person, and then after some time, the thing just dies down. Everybody will just take laws into their hands and do whatever they like, and that's what's happening. Everybody is doing what they like.
I remember that they were saying that under the last administration that our former president, anytime anybody complains, they will say it is opposition, it is sponsored. It is because, and the president actually said it, he believes it. So imagine if you begin to believe that every feedback you get is from people that hate you and are attacking you, then you are unable to grow. So, and feedback helps you to become better, you know, at what you're doing.
I just want to compare that to what we say that love is blind. You know, when you're in a relationship and you love someone, you don't see all those red flags when they are telling you. So all of a sudden, I'm admiring this friend because the person has a political appointment and I might not want to criticize the person and all that. You're blinded because of the things or your closeness with the person.
You're giving them, that makes sense, that makes sense. Let me take Titus from Kogi. Mrs. Titus, welcome to the show.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, Sister Topper.
Good morning.
Yes, they used to, about the rights that we are talking about. Will a cup, tin milk of a rice be enough for one person? Think of family, these people in the room. A cup. They gave me 1 cup of rice sometime this year. So that thing is paining me. I've been trying to call your line until this morning. I was watching you now. So it is better that maybe they should see help us with the poor in the land.
So what are you saying? I'm trying to understand. You said, okay.
He's talking about government.
Government interventions. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Hunger in the town.
Sharing these palliatives. They will just give you only 1 cup of the rice. 1 cup. 1 cup. Not 1.5. Or one. And not 1 mudu.
Where?
In Kogi here, Yagbari. They gave me 1. I even said that if I have 100, I could have sent it.
And you took it, ma?
She took it, though. She said she's hungry.
And you took the rice.
What will I do? I kept it for some time.
That's what we are saying.
Later. I was not even at home. They dropped it for me.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Titus, for calling.
Abigail, she pour that rice away.
She cannot pour the rice away.
You're asking her she took the rice. You didn't want her to take the rice?
But see,
I wanted to even...
We should get to a point. That rice, how long did it last you?
At least.
We should get to a point when they come with their rice. You pursue them with the rice. Pour them water. I'm not inciting violence anyway. But reject it. Now. Reject it before they say
not violence.
They'll not say Abigail and pour water.
In those days, they will use broom to sweep the bad luck. And
so reject them because how many? Even if you're giving 2 bags of
imagine if
because they didn't bring you a solution. See, there was something they did during COVID at Abule that broke my heart. So I have a woman close to me that's a friend who sells at the bus stop at Abule. They came with this van full of food and their cameras and made all the market women queue. And then they stood as if they were starting. And they took videos and they were giving up to 5 people. She was at number 20. And they gave, and they did videos and they did that. And then they did like, the car drove past. And she didn't know, the people just went with the car and all the rest people just opened their mouth. Till date, she says that story over and over again. How they came, they did a video of them and they went away. If everybody said, what are you people giving us? Find our houses, know our address and all of those things. Even the people that they took to their addresses, there was one that the measurement came in, not reach 1 degree rice. They just were doing the packaging. So a lot of rubbish happens with this. That it should be a measure that we must now stand against.
I want to
that's
come
not
back
the way
to this,
to
the idea of reject the one Derika. Let me take Sally from Abeokuta. Good morning, Sally. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, it's my pleasure to join you this morning. It's my first call.
You're a first-timer too. Welcome to the show. We've gotten a lot of first-time callers today.
Of course, they come.
It's quite an interesting topic on the government and what's happening within the system. You guys are doing greatly. Honestly, may Nigeria not happen to any one of us.
Amen.
You can see what the woman that just called recently mentioned, the top of rice. And it's obviously ridiculous. So all the things you are saying about the internet, all this bullying and all those things, people will fight back. And sometimes the way they fight back is the option they have, the social media. So maybe this enlightenment will keep us better on how to fight the government or to express ourselves. Everything is messed up. So, and an hungry man is an angry man. Yes, there's a lot of correlation in what you guys are discussing about, especially you mentioned if somebody from my family is doing something wrong, or let me say somebody that has passion for is a politician, it's almost related. You want to defend him, but we are suffering from you. So the campaign must be more, and I thank God for some of these radio stations and TV stations like you guys, the TVC, exposing us to what we need to know about what is going on within us. So a lot of Nigerians are suffering. I was seeing on your station this morning that an accident happened in the north, and over 100 people died, or 170 people died in the fire. I've not really listened to the news, but I know that people want to.
They went to scoop the fuel. That was what happened. See, at the end of the day, if what you get from the government as palliative in a year or even in a quarter is a cup of rice or a 1 kg of rice that is not enough to last your family 1 week or 2 weeks, you might as well, and you survive with just that for 1 week and 2 weeks, and you're still alive to the next quarter. It means if you say no,
you will not die.
You will not die.
You will not.
And if you say no, and you consistently say no for 2 quarters, 3 quarters, they will realize that these people are not going to be bought with this small thing. And then they will start giving real interventions. Because as long as they feel that that's money, like right now, they are going to be doing direct transfer of 20 million naira will be transferred directly into, 20 billion, I think, will be transferred as 10,000 naira. So if 10,000 naira hits the account of someone, yes, it will seem like you have given me something. But what you're giving me, when not consistent,
it's not going
to change my life. What I want to do is I want my life to change. Yeah. So if I reject that money or I reject that food, it might seem like temporary suffer, but I'm suffering temporarily for the long-term benefits, not just of myself, but for everybody. And it will start with the politicians. I'm not talking about the high politicians. So I'm saying the politicians, the world-level politicians. Yeah. I'm saying that's...
This thing you just said this thing you just said, that if everybody can just reject that rice, it will be... But I will tell you that there are some people that will not reject it. They'll say, okay, you, if you don't want to, me, I'm going to go and get it.
No,
and that is where...
We agree that there will always be those who will not reject it. Yes. And I wanted to say that it's in every case that we've been focusing on politicians. What about mothers who are totally dependent on their husbands, and the husband is abusive of their children sexually in the home? The mother will excuse it.
Someone love is blind.
Some will send their kids. So we need to see... the habit of not calling what is bad is how society got here. You know, when Yahoo started, it was a bad thing. 419 was bad, Yahoo was not bad. It was repatriation of funds. Now, it is bad. See our society. House rent is expensive because when a normal salary earner is pricing it down, a Yahoo boy buys it out. Yeah. Landlords are looking for Yahoo boys. Car sellers are looking for Yahoo boys. Realtors are looking for Yahoo boys. And society is where it is today. We are losing value for our money, for losing our morals and our values. So, please, we need to stand for, at some point, we need to stand for something. We envy the nations who have something they stand for. You know how corrupt the UK is? But because, yes. I'm not saying past.
I'm saying even in the...
I'm saying really presently. It's system. An average British person is as corrupt as what you call African. An American is as corrupt as us. But what weeds out bad things is a system. That there are people who have stood for a value and put in the system that ensures that this value, no matter what, it must work. That's why they are the countries that we envy. Not that they are better off. If you leave them, Shebi the one, they did an insurrection the other time.
Yes, no.
So they too, they are wired like that. But because there's a system, even though that was done and started by a president, there was a system that called that president. How many ex-presidents do you see standing up for any past misdeeds in office? They grow into the Grand Council. So we need to have a system that weeds out, and we need to stand for those values so that we can identify it in anything we see. Starting from within the house, within our families outside.
Yes.
Yeah. I would just like to mention this because we are hearing the fine on VDM, and we've forgotten the other aspects of what brought about the fine. Our justice system, a lot of persons have questioned it. I think our judges and our legal team should remedy themselves because people no longer trust in the justice system. EFCC was mentioned in this whole case. They said they're investigating. The public will want to know what's the outcome of the investigation.
Exactly.
The Godfather that was spoken about, let's know. You know why? That's where it starts. Let's not just end at 500 million.
The Minister of Interior also
every
said...
other person,
Yeah,
they should give us the report.
That's the point.
We want to know.
The federal government will do their job, but a personal matter between VDM and Falana must continue.
Yes, so at the end of the day, we have gotten a government based on what we have accepted and we are continuing to accept. So when we want a different outcome, we change the input. And by God's grace, we'll be able to do that in this same administration.